for some strategies to be more successful, or you're already doing the college experience and looking for a little help. Maybe you're overwhelmed. Well, let me tell you that these 5 steps helped me go from what I call kind of a dog in the mall attitude where I don't know where to look. It's also overwhelming. Everything is pulling my attention, to a focused A+ student in college. Like my story said before, I started as kind of a D average student in high school, and I wound up receiving mostly A's in college, and then went on to graduate school with a full ride. So, yes, I didn't pay anything for my master's degree. All right, so let's get right into the 5 steps to reduce your stress. So, the things I want to talk about in this webcast with you, be and remain goal focused. And again, each one of these headings, we're going to have a slide on with some strategies and tactics and ideas attached to them. Oh, that's very exciting. Advocate for yourself. Create and keep a time budget. And I'm going to talk about how a time budget is different than a schedule. And also, in a few days, I'm going to send you an example of my time budget, as well as a blank form for you to create your own. Be present, and GIG. And that is a fun technique that I came up with in undergrad and shared with my fellow graduate students. All right, so our first topic, be and remain goal focused. So this is important. Know thyself and be true to that. Now, the concept of know thyself really, it's considered to be, well, it's a many theories attached to it, but there are a couple of them that I want to draw upon. Is that you have to ignore the naysayers and pretty much turn off those people who are braggarts, and you have to look into yourself and know pretty much what the fabric of your being is all about. Oh boy, that's really deep stuff. And you know what? I'm going to get into some deep stuff. I'm going to get into some strategy stuff. We're going to talk about high performance. We're going to talk about very practical hard skills and some soft skills. I kind of blend them all together because I know that they're going to all help you be successful. So know thyself and be true to that. And don't let anyone or any event really crack or crush who you are. Now, obviously, you're going to college to have this experience, this growth. Hopefully, you're looking for that educational experience a little bit more than you're looking for a piece of paper. And it is in that journey that knowing thyself, knowing your foundation, knowing where you're coming from is so important, because this is going to change. It's going to grow. It's going to blossom. Hopefully, this is a lifelong journey and not just the next few years. Okay? So next, surround yourself with other goal-focused friends. So being goal-focused means that you know why you're there. And like I said, hopefully it is for the experience, it is for the connections, it's for the information, it is for the eye-opening and mind-opening, altering experience, thinking thoughts you never thought before. Because after all, that's what a great college experience is about. It is about challenging the world, your world, and the way that you see yourself in it, and being able to have a larger scope, a larger picture of how you fit into the world. So you are going to encounter lots of different people. And like I said, if you're already there, you have already encountered lots of different people. And you're going to make those quality assumptions about, I like this person, I like what this person's about, I don't like that person, I don't care what they're about. You can separate their actions from who they are and go, you know what, I just don't agree with that, or I'm not interested in being a part of that group. But I admire this other group, and I always this has been something that I've always preached. My good friends are people that I admire. And then I have acquaintances and friends, but people who I really consider my close friends are people that I admire. And it's usually because they are goal focused. A lot of them are entrepreneurs, or they have an incredibly high, strong moral compass. And it doesn't mean that they are highfalutin or holier than thou. They're just very strong personalities. So what I say, surrounding yourself with goal-focused friends, find other people who are there for sort of the same experience you're there. Now, obviously, if you're going to college to party, it's going to be really easy to find friends. Now, let me tell you, there are a lot of cheaper, easier ways to go party for 4 years than going to college. College is not cheap, whether you're paying for it or you have scholarships, grants. It's not cheap. If your parents are paying for it, ooh, that's so not cheap. So you are there for this growth experience, and hopefully that is an educational journey for you. So when you're with these other goal-focused friends, share and shape. And what I mean by that is share your goals. Because people who are goal-oriented kind of attract those other folks who are goal oriented, because you are thinking about the future. You are thinking about your place in the world and what you want to be when you grow up. Oh, I love that term. What do you want to be when you want to grow up? And it becomes addictive. And find those people and share and listen to what their journey is and how they're doing it, and allow that to shape what you're doing. They might have some great resources. And likewise, you share and help shape theirs. What you want to do is never, ever, ever destroy somebody's goal focus. They may be focused on something that's completely wackadoo. You really can't destroy that. Now, I work with a lot of actors because I am a professor and I'm a professor of theater. And so I wind up having a lot of students who want to be stars. I'm going to be in Hollywood, a Hollywood star. I'm the next Brad Pitt. Okay, what we have to do is break down the difference between a goal and a dream. The dream is a wonderful thing when it happens, but you can't really make a goal of I want to be Brad Pitt, because there already is one that already exists. You have to be your version. You have to be the best you that you can be, which is true. All right, and you want to be around positive people. Negative people are a cancer, and they will suck you dry like a vampire. And it's so easy to get wrapped up in them because it's very easy to go negative, especially right now. Snarky is kind of a lifestyle unto itself. You watch a lot of reality TV. It is snarky. It is the lowest common denominator of human. So avoid it. And trust me, even if you start watching a lot of those reality shows, just looking for the train wreck, it is the lowest common denominator of behavior, and it's infectious in a bad way. So try to avoid it. And you also want to avoid the oh my gosh, I'm like so happy positive. You want to find the real people who are becoming more self-actualized, and find those people and hang out with them and find out what they're doing, because they're going to want to know what you're doing. So I want you to create a visual representation, and in a couple days I'm going to send you a a um, a sample of my current visual representation, as well as a blank form for you to fill in. Yes, I'm giving you some homework here, and I really want you to think about this. And the visual representation is a little mini collage that includes your past, so where you're coming from. For some of you, it's just high school. Others, it was high school, work, family. And some people, your past is, I don't want to say checkered, but really challenging, and something that is really, really difficult and hard for a lot of people to understand. And there's something that has happened between your past and your present, and that is the transformation. So there's also a place on on this graphic for you to put what was your transformation. And then there's a place for your future, your goal. Okay, so it's not the dream, it's the goal. And this could be something that you do every single year. And I really do recommend that you do this because it's so easy, especially in college. You've got a lot of things coming your way. I often say you have to keep a lot of balls in the air if you think of a juggler. So it's very easy to get distracted. So I'm going to send you this graphic. I'm going to explain mine so you can kind of get an idea. And I want you to create your own, print it out, and put it on your bulletin board or above your desk. And it needs to be, it's just a graphic. It's something that can motivate you. It can have you check in with reality and hopefully keep you goal focused because you know where you're coming from, that transformation, where you are right now, and then what you're looking for in the future. And again, I'm going to send you that in just a couple days. It's really important, especially if you are just starting off on your college journey, that you advocate for yourself. So if you are going to a for-profit school or a career school, these are a lot of the technical institutes, they will often have an advisor that works very much one-on-one with you, helps you set up the classes, gets the financial aid set up for you. It is very customer service focused. However, at state schools and universities, a lot of times they don't have that, largely because those advisors in the for profit schools are, quite frankly, getting a commission. They are actually salespeople setting you up in financial aid plans with an education. So the state schools and the universities, private universities, aren't going to have that. So there's going to be a little bit more fend for yourself. They're often not going to have a student advocate to help you get through the system. So you just kind of have to figure it out. And what I find is that a lot of my students do not always have the wherewithal to advocate for themselves. It's really important that you're in control of your education. When I hear students say, "Oh yeah, I think I have some more electives to take." Really? You don't know? You need to map that out. You need to look at, in my instance, I work at a 2-year school. You need to have on a piece of paper your degree plan and what you need to take to get out in 2 years. And I'm amazed at how many people are in their associate's degree for 3 and 4 years. And these are smart people. It's because they haven't taken control of their education. They're listening to their advisor, which often is somebody who's working in the registrar's office. If your advisor happens to be somebody in the department that you're majoring in, that is perfect because they can help you along. They can steer you through the classes that you need to take. They're going to know the order of the classes. They're going to know what is offered and when. That is kind of the ideal situation. If you're working with somebody who's just in the advisement, I don't want to say just in the advisement office because they have a lot of people to work with. They they can't oversee your education. They're looking at what's going on right now. They're looking at what's in front of them. They're not looking at your past and your future a whole bunch. So you really have to be in control of your education. So you need to know your degree requirements. You need to know your prereqs and plan when to take them. Now, the prereqs are, say, you have to take this basic math before you get into the algebra or the trigonometry, or you have to take the English 101. And let me tell you a little tip from your Uncle Rob here. That English 101 or that English 1000 or whatever that class is, where you really learn to write an academic paper and nail down how to write, is such an important course for the rest of your college career and life, honestly. Take it, get into it, devour it, figure out those academic papers. Your life will be so much easier if you master that in that class. And whether you have one or two of those, get in there, master it, relish it, and own that paper. Make it work for you. Because I will have down the road either an ebook or another video where I explain my tricks, how to write a really great um, uh, direct academic paper. I learned some marvelous tricks, and I can't wait to share those with you as well. So, yes, those prerequisites. Know your financials. Now, not only does that mean know how much you've got going on with financial aid and that sort of thing, but have a budget, know how much you can spend. I know it's not a whole bunch of fun, but really, I know that TV and the movies has it appear that college is the rock star years. Woohoo, young and crazy. Okay, there's a little bit of that if that's what you're about. All things in moderation, really. So you need to not spend money hand over fist unless of course you're filthy stinking rich, and if that is the case, then that is awesome. But that is not the majority of people's existence, so you really want to stick within that plan. It will also serve you as far as conflict goes, potentially with whoever is paying or helping. If you've got folks or family that are helping, it's going to help ease the way if you can show them this is what I need to live, this is my rent, this is my food, this is how much support I need. That way, you try to eliminate any surprises, and it makes their life easier too because they're trying to figure out how to pay for this thing because college is ridiculously expensive. You know, um, just 20, 30 years ago, a college student could work all summer and pretty much pay for their next year of college. Are you kidding me? We can't do that now unless you happen to have a job in the stock market or or I don't know, some big high rolling job. So those days are kind of gone unless you're going to that community college, that 2 year state school. But still, it is a challenge. So know those financials and know how they're helping. So advise the advisor. So in undergrad, the head of my department was my advisor, and she saw all of the students who were majors, and I had already worked out through the course catalog everything I needed to take and the things that I wanted to take. What electives did I want, and how I needed to do it. Now, I also went through an education program, so I had essentially two and a half majors, and that's not because I'm some super cool brainiac. I'm not. I just liked them. So I had theater and speech, I had English, and I had secondary education. And they each had their own degree plan. And the degree plan is essentially a spreadsheet or a form that tells you what classes you take, which semesters, so they build on each other. And I took those and combined them and made sure that I was taking everything. And so this one class that was a prerequisite for English or for theater was this English class, so I could take that. Those overlapped, they counted for both. So you have to be in control of that. And later on, I'll tell you the story how I got out of taking a prerequisite. And actually, it was one of those prerequisites that I had to pay for, but it wasn't part of my degree plan. It was, I guess, learning development. It was a math class that I was supposed to take this entry level math class, which didn't count for college credit, in order to get ready to take the college credit one. And because I advised the advisor, I was able to get out of that. And because I was paying for my college and it was a private college, that was I think $2,500 that I saved by doing that, and time. So I'll tell you about that a little bit later, in some other way. I'll tell you that story. Ask questions. Again, when you're sitting down with that advisor, that counselor, that person at the registrar's office, the bursar, all they different institutions are set up differently. Ask questions, and my gosh, be gracious. They deal with some grumpy, confused students and parents all day long. They are rushed. So be gracious. It's going to be frustrating. You've probably sat in the waiting room longer than you would have liked. Be gracious. So ask questions, and these are questions like, is this all that I need to do? What is my next step? For instance, when you get enrolled, is this my last step? No. Have you gone to financial aid? No, I have not. Okay, go to financial aid. Okay, so when you go to financial aid and you fill out all that stuff, what's my next step? Well, you're going to wait till you hear back from us. Okay, so not to be a pest, but should I wait a week? When can I check back? Oh, it's usually about a week. Okay, so if I don't hear back, say next Monday, is it okay to call or come in and ask? Find out what those boundaries are, because you don't want to be a pest, but you want to advocate for yourself and ask those questions. Is there anything else that I need to be doing right now while we're waiting for that? So these are the sorts of questions I don't even think people know to ask. And if you have a question or don't know what's next, ask them. Where do I go for that? Who can I see to find out about activity scholarships? Do you know that a lot of activities, theater, choir, obviously all of the different athletic events, speech, debate, chess, these all have scholarships attached to them. Who can I talk to about these different scholarships? Do I talk to a student activities board? How do I find that out? This is all great information. Ask these questions. It's out there if people are willing to know and willing to ask, what is my next step? Also, know who to talk with. When you find out what your next step is, do I call you back? And if you're at an institution where you're there for 4 years, you're going to want to establish a relationship. You don't want them to treat you like sheep, so you want to get on a name basis. And now it'll be up to them whether you call them Helen or Miss Helen, or whatever's in your respect level. But if you build that relationship and kind of have that go-to person, it's awesome. And this is where, after everything gets sorted out that first semester or whatever's going on, you sending a little thank you note will be a huge feather in your cap. You do not know the power. And I'm not even talking about an email, a little note, a little card. Thank you so much for your help. This was really challenging and you were great. Send that to them, drop that off to them, take it to the front desk, and I guarantee you it's going to go on their desk, it's going to go on their bulletin board, because they are not thought of as I don't want to say useful contributing members, but they're just not thought of. They're really quite glossed over most of the time. So follow up and exercise genuine gratitude. It will get you so far in life. And genuine, going back to know thyself. Okay, create and keep a time budget. Like I said, this is one of those things I'm going to send you more information about in a couple days, but let me give you just a brief overview. So the time budget is different than a schedule. Okay, the time budget will give you an overview of the 24 hours available to you. I do this, I actually do it depending on which time of the year I'm in. For instance, earlier in the summer, I had some summer gigs happening, so I had a different time budget than I do right now. And I'm going to be sharing with you the time budget that I'm on right now, because it involves working on content for you guys, finding you, and getting all this stuff ready, as well as my regular summer stuff. But you have 24 hours, and you're going to create this budget so you can pre-plan your day, week, and semester. This, again, the time budget, just like a financial budget, it gives you that overall picture. By the way, you should have a budget. Know your financials. It gives you that overall look at what your week is. And it's at that time that you can figure out, okay, well, this is my playtime, and this is, my, whatever your hobby is, or this is my work time, or this is my family time. You put it all in there. You put in when you sleep, because you've got 24 hours, and you need to get that 7 or 8 hours of sleep per night. Yes, you heard me right. 7 or 8 hours of sleep per night. Anybody who tells you, oh no, I'm totally good with 4, no, they're not. You are young, probably, and your body is very good at helping you out and adapting, but you work so much better on 7 to 8 hours, and it's been proven scientifically that if you go over that 8.5 hour mark, you're sluggish all day, your lack of motivation because you have slept too much. Your body is not at its prime, and trust me, for these 4 years, you are going to want to be at your prime. So again, so you want to schedule your meals, your entertainment, but of course, what is your priority right now? I hope that it is school. Now you may be in the position where you have to work. I am amazed by people who work full-time jobs and go to school full-time and have full-time families. I don't know how they do it. I have a feeling they're probably not getting that 7 to 8 hours of sleep, but it is something that they survive in the short term. But you have to give yourself time for these things. You have to take care of yourself. You have to pay yourself first with this time and figure out how school fits in. So be realistic with your time budget and don't cheat yourself. Yeah, it's only going to take a half hour, because tasks usually take longer than we first think. I always like, when I'm designing it, to create buffer zones. If you've ever downloaded a map off of the internet or used your GPS to go find a place out of town, you give yourself like 15 minutes getting lost time. Give yourself some buffer time, because that thing that you plan on doing on your schedule probably going to take a little bit longer than you think. Next, I want you to be present. And that doesn't mean just physically, it means mentally as well. And it's, again, making sure that you've got that 7 to 8 hours of sleep. You're drinking plenty of fluids. And by fluids, I mean water, because you need to hydrate and you need to make sure you remain healthy, because it's very hard to be present physically and mentally when you're not healthy. I've known people who went through 4 years of college with a cold. It was the longest cold ever. Learn how you best learn. So a bit of metacognition, learning about learning, is figuring out: are you a visual learner? Do you learn better with lecture or writing? What is best for you? And let me assure you, not every professor cares how you learn. They're going to teach their class, they're going to do their lecture the same way they've been lecturing it for the past 20 years. You are just another peasant in their class. This is just a little bit of reality, and it's not very pleasant. So, you, being present and advocating for yourself, figure out how you can tweak that experience. For instance, I'm very much a visual learner. Hello, slideshow. So in those lecture classes where it was just all lecture, and we're not even talking lecture with slideshow, I mean, I had one history class, I think we took 12 solid pages of notes every class. It was insane. I think it was every month we had a different notebook. It was insane, and I didn't do so well in that class. Uh, but what I did when I wasn't feverishly writing down notes, I would draw pictures, and these weren't, pictures of squirrels bombing other squirrels. I would try to graphically represent what he was talking about, or I would create a chart, or I would create a timeline, because again, I know I'm a visual learner. So not only did it help me connect to that information, but whenever I was doing 10 to 12 pages of notes per class, and by the way, that was a 3 class per week class, I could more easily find it because there was that graphic representation of what was going on. So I knew what that page looked like, which also came in handy for test recall. So another little sidebar, little tip: when you take notes like that, don't just take the notes, close the book, and shove them in your bag, and then go through the door, what I always call the magic portal, where all information leaves because you have to go to the next thing. Yes, you're going to put the stuff away, but then at night, before you go to bed, when you're doing some homework, take it out, go through those notes, take a look at what you did, what you wrote down, write any corrections, take any additional notes, switch things around, whatever needs to happen. And then the next day, actually the next time you have that class, before class, sit down and run through them again. Just kind of take a look, okay, this is where we are right now. Make sense? Super easy and helps the stuff stick in your head. Here's a tricky one. Be prepared. Well, be prepared, period, is essential. If any of you were scouts, you may remember the be well prepared. It serves you really well here because you're going to have a whole bunch of due dates happening all at once. Oddly enough, there's lots of stuff due at the end of the semester. What? So yeah, so you're going to be on top of that because you're prepared. And if you can, be a little bit ahead. Nothing is worse than cramming. Nothing is worse than doing it at the last minute. I know those of you who are out there saying, oh, yeah, I always work best under pressure. No, you don't. No, you just crank something out, and we know. We know you pulled it out of your backside, okay? And we still stick a grade on it because sometimes I think professors think it's just easier than to challenge you. But you will hit those professors that will challenge you on it and call it crap. And if it's crap, it needs to be called crap, okay? They're not doing you any service. They're not serving you at all saying that your crap is okay or even good. So be prepared and be ahead of schedule because you're going to fall back. You're going to fall behind, and if you're a little bit ahead in something, you can pull out of it a lot more easily. Be active and be curious. As a professor, I hate teaching classes after lunch because their bodies are on digestion and they are not on thinking or communicating or wanting to do anything other than breathe. And if I'm giving a lecture or trying to get them energized, I teach acting for crying out loud, and I can't get them, motivated and upgoing because they are not active. They are not curious. Their brains are shut down. However, if I have one or two students that get it, that know how to learn, they will make eye contact with me. They will be interested. They'll be nodding a few times. They're not putting anything on. They're just interested in what I have to say. Or they're pretending to be interested in what I say, or they're hoping the next thing I say will be interesting. I don't know. But they are active. And ask questions. And ask questions for clarity. Don't ask questions that demonstrate what's being talked about. You know what I mean? It's so annoying to have somebody, so what you're saying is, yes, that's exactly what I said. Thank you for stopping me. You, you know those people who ask questions just to show that I'm asking a question. Be curious, and that helps you be active. And again, be healthy of mind and body. So this includes some sleep. Wonder how much I recommend. Thank you. Drinking plenty of fluids, water, and keeping yourself on an even keel. Okay, there's a lot of emotions going on. If you are becoming emotionally stressed, there are a lot of colleges have people you can talk to, or I know the college that I work for, they have a whole pamphlet of services that are available, and there are counselors, and there are so many free therapy sessions that you can get. There's no shame in having somebody help you sort some things out. College is stressful because you're putting there's a lot of emphasis on these 4 years, so, or potentially more depending on what your goals are. So allow yourself to be healthy of mind and body. Try to eat some good food. My gosh, have a salad every now and then. Do not entertain distractions. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of balls that you've got in the air as that juggler. Try to avoid those distractions. And there's going to be people who are destroyers and they want to distract you. Now, again, moderation in all things. You can have your time for those great distractions, but try not, well, no, you don't want that to be the focus of your existence. Because again, then you're right back to what I call the dog in the mall, don't know what to focus on. It's just all entertaining distractions. So try to focus and know why you're there and what you're looking for. All right, GIG. This is a fun little thing. When I was, I think, either a junior or a senior, I had a bit of an epiphany, and that was that I actually might be kind of smart. And I'm not bragging. I'm not saying, oh, I'm uber smart. I think we're all smart about some things. And I wound up feeling very smart about theater and very smart about secondary education. These are a couple things that I very much enjoyed. And I knew I enjoyed theater. I didn't know so much about the education stuff, but I got it and I enjoyed it. So, one of the things that I did is I came up with this little system called GIG, which was a way to reward myself for excellent thoughts. And what this meant was when the professor was lecturing or a demonstration was going on, if I arrived at the conclusion before they did, or if I had a question that helped propel the class into a great conversation, if I had something going on that felt very rewarding, these happen. When you get an essay back and you had this comment like, "Wow, that was really thoughtful" from the teacher, I would write GIG in the column. And I'm going to tell you about that here in just a second. And this carried over into grad school. And I remember sitting in grad school and I was taking notes, and a very, very, very straight A studious student was sitting next to me, who I love dearly, and very type A student. And she saw me write GIG in the column because the professor had said something and I already knew it, or had already connected those dots. And she thought she had missed a point. She's like, "Oh, what's that?" And I explained to her that GIG was my shorthand, my little code that meant, "God, I'm good." So it was just a little way to reward myself for excellent thought. So you have to learn to praise your efforts and your results. And please don't confuse this with having an ego. You need to be very realistic. It's not just, "Hey, I'm awesome for being awesome," or "I'm awesome because my Facebook page says I'm awesome." You have to do awesome things to be awesome. So praise your honest efforts and your honest results. When you get A's, first of all, it feels great. It's awesome. Uh, so, allow yourself to bask in that. And it's not like you want to run around the house, "Hey, got an A. Look at me. I'm awesome." Or it doesn't mean, "Hey, I got an A. I'm going to go binge." No, it's like, really value that, because a professor, somebody who has advanced knowledge and training in the subject matter that you are either interested in or passing through, thinks that what you've done has value and that it's worthwhile and that you thought bigger thoughts. Haha, how about that? You have to create and meet realistic expectations. Again, this is one of the peak performance sort of things for uh, goal setters. You set achievable goals and you meet them. So you want to create expectations for yourself, realistic expectations, and meet them. And this can be a challenge for those type A people. Um, a lot of times they set unrealistic expectations of themselves and then beat themselves up constantly for not meeting them. So you need to make realistic expectations, and this may take some time trying to figure that out. You may be in the hardest subject matter ever for you. For me, it's algebra. Doesn't make any darn sense. If you have 2 oranges and take away 3 oranges, you have a negative orange. What? There's no such thing as a negative orange. Don't get me started. So my expectation, my realistic expectation for that class was, I need to pass this class to get the credit and not destroy my GPA. That's all I needed to do. I did not need to ace it. I did not need to master it, because quite frankly, that was not going to happen. That was unrealistic for me. So I knew what I needed to do to get what I needed from that experience of being in that classroom for 3 months. My realistic expectation was get the credit, move on. And, I'm not proud to say that I met that expectation, but I met that expectation. I think I got a C plus, got the credit, understood some of the things he was talking about, and I've actually used them. So I gained knowledge. So for me, that was a realistic expectation. Uh, Share your success secret. So if you've got a system that works for you, my gosh, share that with those other goal focused people. And by the way, if I've given you any tactics or techniques that later on work out for you, by gosh, share me with them. That way, oh, look at that, a bouncy A plus. Isn't that exciting? So I'm hoping that some of these tactics and secrets will help you. And in my information further on into my program, I get into more details and I get into coaching with these elements, and I really want you to know that I know you can do it. And I'm so proud of you for jumping in there and giving it a try. Well, giving it the old college try, because you can do it. There is nothing special about me except for my specialness, and that's just because I'm another human on the face of the planet that found inner motivation to do what I wanted to do. I wasn't going to college for anyone other than myself. And I hope that that is part of your journey. And if it's not right now, I hope you find a way to adjust it again, tweak your experience so you are getting out of it what you need and what you want for your personal growth, for your journey through life. And I know that you will be able to pull this off and be successful. And I will be so proud of you. And I hope at the end of it, I will get a similar text message or an email from you just letting me know that, you know, GIG, you're awesome. If you want some more awesome tips, you can go into my web store. I have a few ebooks. I also, like I had mentioned, I've got some more free stuff that is coming your way. Feel free to subscribe to my Facebook and my YouTube, where I have more videos available to you, as well as tweets. Throughout the school year, I send out some little motivational tweets because I want to keep you interested and keep you going or keep you laughing. Because one of the things that I discovered as a teacher, if you're laughing, you're listening, and if you're listening, you're learning. And I'm all about that, and I'm all about helping you out. So I'm here to serve you, to help you through this process. If there's anything at all I can do to help, please let me know either in the comments below, shoot me an email, profrob at 101academy.com. That is really me. It comes right to me, and I will be more than happy to help you out if I can. So thank you so much for listening through me ramble through these 5 strategies to reduce stress. These are real things that helped me figure it out and get on the ball. Like I said, I'm going to be sending you the visualization and the time budget. Those are going to be coming to you in just a couple days. So thank you so much. I know you can do this. I'm so proud of you. I can't wait to hear about your success.